Hello, Jason Small here, Executive Secretary of the Montana AFL-CIO. And today we want to talk about a few things we have going on. So we started the Blue Collar News podcast a little while back, several months back. We began to pick up a little steam and pump some content out. And it's been wonderful. People have been tuning in, they've been listening, been paying attention to everything we're doing. And I'm going to tell you one thing right now, we really appreciate it, and we'd really encourage you to share everything with your friends and help us inflate the numbers a little bit. So we're going to go into a couple things we've been working on. We're starting like a 3-part series, which is going to be natives in labor. And you know, this is one of those interesting things that most of the populace would know nothing about, and unfortunately, many of the tribal members in a lot of communities have no idea of how to even get started, and we're going to begin to counteract that. So, you know, why is this important? Montana's tribal communities generally and oftentimes have nearly double-digit unemployment numbers. So Northern Cheyenne, where I live, we're at about 10.8% unemployment right now. And the Fort Belknap community is around 15.1%, which is actually looking pretty good because 3 to 4 months ago, they were nearly 20% unemployment. So those numbers, they're not good. Some people look at that and say, well, you know, that's not terrible. That's not terrible. Well, I'm going to tell you what, guys, if the rest of the country was at 10.8% unemployment, we'd be completely bankrupt. There would be nothing going on across the board, and it'd be terrible. So we have to take that into account as you're looking statistically at the numbers. So basically, the first part we're going into is prevailing wage, Davis-Bacon, Little Davis-Bacon, and project labor agreements. It is of some of the utmost importance that we are getting some of the tribal communities, as we're doing infrastructure projects and large-scale builds, that we're getting contracts put in place that are beneficial to not only the tribe's tribal members, but also the workers themselves. Everybody deserves to get a good go out of it. The second episode we're working on, or subset I should say, is going to be apprenticeship opportunity. And this is a big one. We've been working with Montana Department of Labor, Tribal Terros. We've had a pretty substantial working group going for a couple of years now. And there has been leaps and bounds progress made. At some of the first meetings, they were pretty rough. I mean, nobody knew where to even start. The Department of Labor, for the first time in its history, hired on a liaison for Indian country. The unions, the AFL-CIO, we stepped up, and we've essentially been there for nearly every meeting that the groups have had, answering questions, trying to expand opportunity and create pathways and explain what apprenticeship opportunities look like, how to access them, and how to make them work out. So when we go into this a little bit further, I think we're gonna explain how to get onto our website. The Montana AFL-CIO has a website with links to all the joint apprenticeship training centers in state. There's contacts for local hiring halls, and we'll continue on to also hit job fairs when we can get to them and they're applicable, and hopefully pump out a little more information in this podcast style so we can help spark some interest among some new workers. And then last but not least, we're going to go into one more little sector there, and it'll probably be something centered around education and tribal communities. So we'll be working on that here in the near future also, and hopefully get you a good package of podcasts put together to listen to for educational purposes and also maybe some enjoyment. Thank you.